Good morning, soldiers, family, friends, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel William P. Simmerl, Command Sergeant Major Martin E. Wilcox, and the 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment soldiers, past and present, welcome to the squadron's monument dedication ceremony for our fallen comrades in Operation Iraqi Freedom. If you will please rise for the playing of the national anthem and remain standing for the opening prayer. If you bow your heads for prayer. Heavenly Father, in your providence you saw fit to bring us together this morning. I humbly stand in the midst of your creation, amongst men of valor and substance, and I give you thanks. Thanks for your great mercy, thanks for your unfailing goodness, and thanks for your unchanging, unfathomable love for mankind. In this coming day of memorial and dedication, I pray that you would guide and govern us by your Holy Spirit, that in all the cares and occupations of our life we may not forget you, but may remember that we are ever walking in your sight and that you are always with us. Amen. If you'll please be seated. The commander of the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, Brigadier General Robert W. Cohn.
Family members of our fallen heroes, distinguished guests, Eagle Horse and Black Horse troopers, it is really an honor for me to be here with you today, be part of this dedication, a dedication to 16 American heroes who gave their lives in the defense of freedom. We do not mourn the loss of these soldiers today, but celebrate their lives, the good they did, and the great soldiers and people that they were. I am particularly pleased to speak to you as a fellow former Eagle Horse trooper. I've served in many units in my 27 years military career, but none will ever be closer to my heart than the Black Horse Regiment. There's just something about this unit, its lineage, and the camaraderie one feels when you wear the Black Horse patch. In my view, these soldiers we honor here today are the prototype of the modern American patriot hero. They come from across the nation: Washington, Mississippi, Wisconsin, Michigan, Texas, Puerto Rico, just to name a few. These men chose to serve their country in what has turned out to be a particularly challenging time in our nation's history. This is a time when our nation, our way of life, and the very values we live by are under attack, while many who enjoy the greatest benefits of this freedom shirk from the responsibility to defend it. These men took a stand to defend us all and take the fight to the enemy so it will never again find its way to American soil. Some of these patriots were citizen soldiers who left their jobs or gave up a baseball scholarship to deploy with their unit. All left the comfort and leisure of their homes and families to meet the challenges of serving in the military profession. These men we remember today were great soldiers, members of a team. They were, in the words of their fellow soldiers, great officers, non-commissioned officers, and soldiers. They were professional, inspirational, strong, dedicated, and loyal. They were mentors who shared all of their knowledge with their soldiers. Some were spark plugs, others, by their own admission, grumpy. They were patriotic soldiers who loved their jobs as soldiers and cavalry troopers. Some were great leaders whose very presence gave confidence to men. They were all quintessential American soldiers. They were battle buddies who always contributed to the team, the unit, to their fellow soldiers, and to their friends. I can think of no better words to describe these great men as we dedicate this memorial today. But there is another side of these soldiers we should also remember: the kindness and compassion and the wonderful family men that they were. They savored life, had cheerful enthusiasm, hearts full of peace, compassion, and love. Some were never without a smile. They were comedians and great friends. They were great husbands, wonderful fathers, and loyal sons. They had an impact on all people's lives. While care and compassion for others may seem like a small thing in the life of a soldier, I assure you it is a testament to the strength and fiber of these soldiers' personal character and the families that raised them and nurtured them. News correspondent Tom Brokaw wrote a book about America's greatest generation. A short review of the life of these soldiers we honor today might reveal a little about the development of America's next great generation. The accomplishments and sacrifice of these great Americans stand them among our nation's finest. They should be remembered as American patriots, men who love their families, their friends, and their nation, and chose to take a stand to fight for all our freedom. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be here and again acknowledge the accomplishments of these tremendous soldiers. Our entire nation stands in awe of their patriotism and personal sacrifice. The memorial we are dedicating to these 16 American heroes is a physical reminder of their sacrifice to our nation. But more importantly, in the hearts of each who knew and loved them, there is an unwritten memorial, not one of stone or metal, but one written in our hearts, one that remembers them as the great soldiers, husbands, fathers, and the sons that they were. God bless you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. Train the force and Alans.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the soldiers of 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, we dedicate this monument to those soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of their families, friends, and country. With this tribute, may their memories never diminish and their courage be forever known. The commander of the 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel William P. Simrell.
Today, we gather together to honor and remember our fallen heroes from Task Force 211. This is not a day to be saddened, but rather a day to come together to celebrate these warriors' lives and contributions, to open a new chapter in our remembrance of them, to dedicate this monument that will forever stand as a visual reminder of their service and sacrifice. Many of us here today have participated or attended many memorial ceremonies and services over the last year. We have on each and every occasion assembled together to honor and remember our fallen warriors. We spoke of faithful service and sacrifice, and our soldiers had the opportunity to memorialize them in their own special way. However, the common theme throughout while we were in Iraq was that we would never forget the fallen. We would never forget them or their families. We would use their passing to spur us on to do an even better job, to take care of one another just a little bit better, to continue the work they had started and gave their very lives for. We have not forgotten them, nor have we ever. Each soldier and leader who had the privilege to know and serve with these men has had to cope with their passing in their own way, while at the same time diligently continue the mission and look out for those left behind. In other words, many of the soldiers were unable to grieve for the losses until very recently. Once they were out of harm's way and began to reintegrate back at home, they began or continued the all-important grieving process. And we're seeing that now. The other aspect of the common theme was we were going to forever memorialize their service and sacrifice. Today, we dedicate this wonderful monument where the names of our fallen heroes will forever be displayed. Carved into granite, not with the tools of the trade, but with the heart and pride and determination of these 16. This monument will bear their names for generations to come, for all of 211 and all Black Horse soldiers to see. In 5, 10, even 50 years from now, the families can return and proudly see the names of those sacrificed all for others. This monument will stand as a visible reminder that the price of freedom is high, higher than most people understand. The families that are here today, as well as the families unable to be with us, know better than anyone else that high price. None of us can ever truly understand the pain of the loss of a loved one so close. It would simply be impossible to understand what you have endured. I can, and I speak for the other soldiers of our task force, say that the passing did hurt each and every one of us. We were a band of brothers, and the loss of one of our own wounded us all. It truly was like losing a brother. As their commander, I felt hurt just as much, if not even more so, since it was I who gave the order that put them into harm's way. Their passing may be tragic, but certainly not senseless. Their sacrifice will forever be remembered. Not only here, but also in Iraq by the Iraqi people. Your loved ones and these soldiers truly made a difference in the North province. The media doesn't necessarily give you an all-encompassing view of the war in Iraq, so let me fill you in on the area these men served in. When we arrived, it was an extremely volatile and violent place. Some even told us it was going to be the next Fallujah. The people were scared. There was no government, only a corrupt police force that was untrained and poorly led, a small army unit that was being whittled down to nothing, and a local economy that was in shambles. There was little hope and a lot of fear. Fear of both the terrorists and of the coalition forces. When we left in late December, the local government was up, fully functional, and taking charge. They were planning the future of their country and with much optimism. The police were weeding out their corrupt, had adopted a new culture of pride and service, and were well-trained, well-equipped, and well-led. The once floundering Iraqi Army unit had tripled in size and exponentially grown in capability, so much so that we were able to hand over responsibility to them for our largest urban areas. The local Iraqi people no longer feared the terrorists, which were significantly neutralized, and the economy was getting back on track. The markets flourished, and the people could finally see a bright, peaceful future ahead of them. The people were sad to see us leave because these soldiers had done and given so much to them. They made a marked impression on young and old and helped shape the future of this once violent and lawless area. The Iraqi people were grateful for what these soldiers were able to accomplish. On election day in December, I rode through all the towns and locations where our soldiers had fallen. What I saw is something I'll never forget. I saw the fruit of the labor, of the work, and the sacrifice our soldiers had made. I saw streets filled with long lines of Iraqi men and women coming by the thousands, walking in many cases miles to a polling station to vote. They had been given the greatest gift a soldier can give, freedom. Their loss was not in vain. It was not senseless. They accomplished what they came to Iraq to do. In closing, I want to thank you all for your sacrifice and what you have endured. I hope this monument stands as a reminder to you that your sacrifice and the sacrifice of our fallen heroes will forever be remembered and honored. God bless you all.
At this time, soldiers and comrades of these brave men will provide a tribute to the lives of each. We will conclude the tributes with the Soldier's Creed.
Private First Class Casey Michael Laware. Casey Laware was born on 28 July 1985 in Missoula, Montana. Casey entered active service on 8 January 2004. Following one station unit training, Casey was assigned to 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. Private First Class Laware was immediately assigned to the sniper platoon in headquarters and headquarters troop, where he would eventually serve as a sniper during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Private First Class Laware's spirit, honesty, devotion to duty, and tireless pursuit of excellence inspired all that knew him. At the time of his death, Casey had served for 12 months as a sniper. Private First Class Casey Michael Laware passed away on 9 April 2005 from injuries he received during a fire during combat operations. Private First Class Laware's awards include the Bronze Star Medal, posthumously, the National Defense Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Combat Infantry Badge. Private First Class Laware is survived by his father, Mr. Michael Laware, his mother, Miss Kathleen Grace, and his sister, Autumn Laware.
Specialist Tyler J. Dickens. Specialist Tyler J. Dickens was born 26 June 1984 in Fort Lewis, Washington. Specialist Tyler entered active service 20 June 2002. Following one station unit training, Tyler was assigned to 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. Specialist Dickens' first company was Hotel Company. He was later assigned to headquarters and headquarters troop, where he would eventually serve as a sniper team leader during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Specialist Dickens held the respect of his fellow soldiers. He was an outstanding young man who performed every task to the standard with cheerful enthusiasm. At the time of his death, Tyler had served for 3 months as a sniper team leader. Specialist Tyler J. Dickens passed away 12 April 2005 from injuries he received from a fire during combat operations. Specialist Dickens awards include Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Expert Infantryman's Badge, and the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Specialist Dickens is survived by his wife, Alicia, and son, Austin.
Specialist Kevin W. Prince. Kevin Prince was born July 13, 1982 in Columbus, Ohio. Kevin entered active service on 29th of May 2002. Following one station unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia, Kevin was assigned to 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. After arrival at 2nd Squadron, Specialist Prince was assigned to Echo Troop as a Grenadier, where he would eventually serve as a gunner on a Bradley fighting vehicle. Specialist Prince held the respect of his fellow soldiers. He was an outstanding young man who performed every task to standard with enthusiasm. At the time of his death, Kevin had served as a rifleman in 1st Platoon during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Specialist Kevin W. Prince passed away on April 23, 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. Specialist Prince's awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Army Service Ribbon, and Combat Infantryman's Badge. Special Prince is survived by his parents, Ronald and Susan Prince, and extended family members.
Captain Ralph John Harting III was born on 19 August 1976 in West Bloomfield, Michigan. He graduated from West Point on 30 May 1998 and was commissioned an officer in the United States Army on the same day. Following completion of the infantry officer basic course at Fort Benning, Georgia, he went on to complete Ranger School, Airborne School, and Air Assault School. His first duty assignment was with the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where he served as a platoon leader, order platoon leader, and executive officer. Upon arriving at Fort Irwin in November of 2002, Captain Harting served as the S3 Air for Headquarters and Headquarters Troops, 2nd 11th ACR. On 30 May 2003, Captain Harting became the commander of Echo Troop, 2nd 11th ACR, and led his troop through over a dozen NTC rotations before deploying to Iraq in January 2005. In Iraq, Captain Harting distinguished himself the most as a leader of soldiers. During Operation Iraqi Freedom III, Captain Harting successfully led his troop through patrols, cordons, and raids in Aswa, Tiara, and other areas of the 211th sector. He led his soldiers by example, always placed the mission first, and never asked of his soldiers anything that he wouldn't do himself. His soldiers will remember him as an inspirational combat leader who cared deeply for their well-being. Captain Ralph J. Harting III passed away on 29 April 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. Captain Harting's awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Multinational Force Observer Medal, Army Service Ribbon, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, Expert Infantryman's Badge, Ranger Tab, Sniper Tab, Parachutist Badge, and the Air Assault Badge. Captain Harting is survived by his wife Jen, his daughter Adeline, his sons Ralph Jr. and Warren.
Captain Steve W. Frank. Captain Stephen W. Frank was born on 4 April 1976. He graduated from the United States Military Academy in 1988 and was commissioned an officer in the United States Army. Following completion of the infantry officer basic course at Fort Benning, Georgia, he was assigned to 1st Battalion, 17th Infantry Regiment at Fort Wainwright, Alaska, where he served as a rifle platoon leader, order platoon leader, and Battalion S1 from 1999 through 2002. In 2003, he was assigned to the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, where he served as a regimental S4 and Squadron S4 for 2nd Squadron. In Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom III, Captain Stephen Frank served as a battle captain and then the Force Protection Officer for his leadership and example always epitomized the hallowed words of duty, honor, and country. Captain Stephen W. Frank passed away on 29 April 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. Captain Frank's awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, 3 Open Cluster, National Defense Service Medal, 2 Open Cluster, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Army Service Medal, Overseas Service Medal, Combat Infantryman's Badge, Expert Infantryman's Badge, Ranger Tab, Parachutist Badge, and Air Assault Badge. He is a graduate of the Infantry Officer Basic and Advanced Courses, U.S. Army Ranger School, Airborne School, Air Assault School, the Captain's Career Course, and the Combatants Trainer Course Level 2. Frank is survived by his wife, the former Laurel Hayes of Auburn Mills, Michigan, and their 3-year-old son, Alexander.
Sergeant John M. Smith. Sergeant John M. Smith was born on 9th of October 1982 in Wilmington, North Carolina. John entered active service on the 22nd of August 2000. Following one station unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia, John was assigned to Bravo Company, 3rd of the 325 Infantry Regiment at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. While assigned there, John completed a tour in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. On 21 June 2004, John was reassigned to 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. He was further assigned to Echo Troop as a team leader, where he would eventually serve as a squad leader in 1st Platoon. Upon deployment to Iraq, John was reassigned to HHT, where he served as a military trainer on the Iraqi Army during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Sergeant Smith held the highest respect of his fellow soldiers. He was an outstanding young man who enthusiastically performed every task to standard. Sergeant John M. Smith passed away 12th May 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. Sergeant Smith's awards include the Bronze Star Medal, Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, Army Service Ribbon, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, and the Army Parachute Badge. Sergeant Smith was survived by his parents, Thomas and Judith Smith.
Specialist Bryan E. Barron was born in 9 June 1978 in Gulfport, Mississippi. He entered the Army National Guard 24 April 2004 at the age of 26. He was sent to Fort Benning, Georgia for one station unit training. Upon successfully completing his training, PB2 Barron reunited with his family in Biloxi, Mississippi, flying out with Human. Charlie Company versus the 155th Infantry was mobilizing for Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Specialist Bryan Barron met his unit at Camp Shelby, Mississippi, during mobilization and extinguished himself while serving in Iraq. Specialist Bryan Barron passed away on 23 May 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. His awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Iraqi Campaign Medal, and Combat Infantryman's Badge. Specialist Bryan Barron is survived by his wife, Amanda Mae Barron of Biloxi, Mississippi, his daughter, Kaylee West, and Jay Barron.
Corporal Audrey D. Lunsford was born 31 May 1975 in the town of Sardis, Mississippi. He graduated from South Norwell High School. At the age of 20, Audrey Lunsford enlisted into the Army and was sent to Fort Benning, Georgia for one station unit infantry training. He then attended and completed airborne school. Upon receiving his jump wings, Private Lunsford was assigned to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where he earned his Air Assault Badge. After finishing his enlistment in the Army, Audrey Lunsford went back to Sardis, Mississippi to serve society as a police officer. Audrey re-entered service in January 2005. He specifically wanted to serve his country in Iraq and asked to join the deploying unit. He joined Charlie Company, 1st the 155 Infantry, on 25 March 2005, and quickly integrated into the unit. Corporal Audrey D. Lunsford passed away on 23 May 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations. Corporal Lunsford's awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Iraqi Campaign Medal, Combat Infantryman's Badge, Parachutist Badge, and the Air Assault Badge. Audrey Lunsford is survived by his wife, Evangeline Dawn Lunsford of Sardis, Mississippi, and daughter, Michaela Lunsford.
Saburant Parker entered the Army National Guard on 17 February 1989 as an infantry. He was sent to Fort Irwin, Georgia for initial entry training and follow-on advanced individual training. Upon successful completion of AIT, Saburant reunited with his family, then unit in Tylertown, Mississippi, serving with distinction in Alpha Company 155 Infantry until May of 2001. Upon promotion to Staff Sergeant in Charter Company 155 Infantry, Saburant time and again distinguished himself amongst his peers. He was known throughout the battalion as one of the best valued crew members and commanders. Anyone serving on his crew, to include Specialist Varnado, was bestowed the Novice Staff Sergeant more and willingly offered. His dedication to service was recognized as he continually volunteered for missions. Staff Sergeant Saburant Parker was passed away on 23 May 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat. His awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Accommodation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Army Service Ribbon, National Defense Medal, Army Service Component Achievement Medal, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal with M device, the Non-Commissioned Officers Professional Development Ribbon, NATO Medal, Iraqi Campaign Medal, and Combat Infantryman Badge. Staff Sergeant Parker is survived by his wife, Kitsa Parker of Foxford, Mississippi, his daughters, Marissa and Sheila, and son, Ramsey.
Specialist Daniel R. Varnado was born 29 August 1981 in Biloxi, Mississippi. He entered the Army National Guard on 19 March 2001 at the age of 20. He was sent to Fort Benning, Georgia for one station unit infantry training. Upon successfully completing his training, BB2 Varnado reunited with his family in Saucier, Mississippi. During drills and annual training, Specialist Varnado quickly displayed a knack for the Bradley fighting vehicle. He moved in positions from driver to gunner, where he distinguished himself and solidified his crew by winning the Top Gun Award during annual training of 2003. Receiving a scholarship to pitch for collegiate baseball in Alabama, Specialist Varnado decided to forgo his baseball scholarship and deploy with his unit to Iraq. His dedication to duty, his honor and loyalty to his country, unparalleled. Specialist Daniel Varnado passed away on 23 May 2005 from injuries sustained during combat operations. His awards include the Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Combination Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Iraqi Campaign Medal, and Combat Infantryman's Badge. Specialist Daniel Varnado is survived by his wife Sharon Michelle Varnado of Biloxi, Mississippi, and his son Cannon.
Sergeant Mark Maida, born on November 15, 1982 in Madison, Wisconsin. Mark entered active service 1st of November 2001, following one station unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia. Mark was assigned to 2nd 11th Squadron Cavalry Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. He was assigned to Echo Troop as a Grenadier and would eventually serve as Bradley fighting vehicle during Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Sergeant Maida held the respect of his fellow soldiers, and he was an outstanding young man who performed every task with standard and cheerful enthusiasm. Sergeant Mark Maida passed away 26 May 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations to support Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Sergeant Maida's awards include the Bronze Star Medal, Purple Heart, Army Accommodation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Total Police Clusters, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Iraqi Campaign Medal, and the Combat Infantryman's Badge. Sergeant Maida is survived by his parents, Raymond and Diane Maida.
Travis entered service on 19 September 2000. During one station unit training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Travis was assigned to Charlie Battery, 1st retired 19th Field Artillery. Travis graduated as an honor graduate and was assigned to 2nd Battalion, 114th Field Artillery in Starksville, Mississippi. Sergeant Cooper held the respect of his fellow soldiers. He was an outstanding young man who performed every task to standard with cheerful enthusiasm. After deployment to Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom, Sergeant Cooper was assigned to Hotel Company Task Force 211 ACR, where he served as a dismounted team member for 2nd Platoon. Sergeant Travis Cooper passed away 16 June 2005 from injuries he sustained during combat operations in support of Iraqi freedom. Sergeant Cooper's awards include the Bronze Star Medal, Army Combination Medal, Army Achievement Medal, 2 OD clusters, an Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Iraq Campaign Medal, and the Combat Action Medal. Sergeant Cooper is survived by his brother Antoine Cooper and his aunt Yvonne Cooper Beaumont.
Sergeant Jacob B. Dones began his service in the Army on 16 June 2002. The infantry, 1 station unit training at Fort Benning, Georgia. Afterwards serving 3rd Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, Fort Carson Company during Operation Iraqi Freedom I before joining Hotel Company 2nd Squadron, 11th ACR Regiment at Fort Irwin, California. He was promoted to sergeant on July 1st, 2005 while serving his country in Al Qaeda, Iraq, as a dismount team leader at Bradley Gunner and dismount and a Bradley Section Sergeant. During his career, he was awarded the Army Combination Medal, 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Army Achievement Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and the Combat Infantryman's Badge. During his deployment, he was awarded the Iraqi Campaign Medal, a Purple Heart Medal, and the Bronze Star. He was engaged to Miss Mindy Gonzalez, herself a sergeant at Fort Irwin. He is survived by his mother, his father, Danny Rosa Dones, his brother Danny, and sister Jessica.
First Lieutenant Robert Oneto-Sikorski. First Lieutenant Robert Oneto-Sikorski was born on 1 September 1972 in New Orleans, Louisiana. After graduating from Hancock High School in 91 in Kill, Mississippi, he attended Pearl River Community College from 1991 to 1993. He then enlisted in the United States Army as a 13 Light, an LRS crewman, and was stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas. After 3 years of service, Specialist Oneto-Sikorski attended the University of South Alabama, where he majored in mechanical engineering and minored in military science, ROTC. He graduated in May of '99 and was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant. He then attended Airborne School and the Infantry Officer Basic Course at Fort Benning, Georgia, and graduated in August 2000. His first assignment was Alpha Company, 890th Engineer Battalion, where he served as a platoon leader. In December of 2002, First Lieutenant Oneto-Sikorski joined Bravo Company, 1st of the 155 Infantry, Poplarville, Mississippi, where he served as an infantry platoon leader. On 6 July 2004, he became the executive officer in Charlie Company, 1st of the 155 Infantry, until present. As a civilian, First Lieutenant Oneto-Sikorski was hired in 2001 as mechanical engineer in Northrop Grumman Ship Systems in Pascagoula, Mississippi, where he worked as a designer for improving propulsion systems in U.S. Navy ships. While fully employed, First Lieutenant Oneto-Sikorski decided to further his education by earning a Master's of Business Administration from William Carey College in August of 2003. First Lieutenant Oneto-Sikorski's awards include Purple Heart, Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, 2 Oakley Clusters, Army Achievement Medal, 3 Oakley Clusters, Army Service Ribbon, Global War on Terrorism Medal, Iraqi Campaign Medal, Armed Forces Selected Reserve Mobilization Medal with end device, Combat Infantryman's Badge, and the Parachutist Badge. First Lieutenant Robert C. Oneto-Sikorski is survived by his mother, Elaine M. Oneto, and his 3 children, Robert Jr., PJ, and Hannah.
Specialist Javier Villanueva. Specialist Javier Villanueva began his service in the Army on September 16, 2003, during basic combat training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Then moving to Fort St. Houston, Texas. On November 29, 2003, for 91 Whiskey Healthcare Specialist Advanced Individual Training. Finally reported to his first duty station, Fort Irwin, California, on April 19, 2004, where he was assigned to Headquarters Troop, 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment. Upon notification for deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom III, Specialist Villanueva was assigned to Hotel Company, 2nd Squadron, 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment, where he was to serve until his death. From enemy fire on November 23rd, 2005. In the city of Alhead. In the Al-Anbar province of Iraq. Specialist Villanueva's awards and decorations include the Army Combination Medal, 1 Oakley Cluster, the National Defense Service Medal, the Army Service Ribbon, Iraqi Campaign Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Combat Field Medic Badge, the Bronze Star Medal, and the Purple Heart Medal. Specialist Villanueva is survived by his wife Felicia and his daughter Talia. In addition to his parents, Raymond and Christine.
Staff Sergeant Milton Rivera. Staff Sergeant Milton Rivera was born in Cabo, Puerto Rico on December 21st, 1949. He joined the Army National Guard on July 17, 1976 as an infantry. He attended Lucid at Fort Benning, Georgia. On completion of training, he was assigned to Delta Company, 1st through 2nd 96th Infantry Command, West Puerto Rico. On June 2nd, 2005, Milton Rivera was promoted to Staff Sergeant. My West Puerto Rico Lieutenant Julio Tirado. He was given the responsibility of a squad leader and excelled. On August 11, August 2005, Staff Sergeant Rivera deployed to the Middle East in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom III. Staff Sergeant Rivera and his squad were attached to Bravo Company, 1st, 2nd 96th Infantry, an essential unit from Puerto Rico. Staff Sergeant Rivera immediately established himself as a reliable NCO, a leader of soldiers, and a role model to all. Because of his great knowledge, he was tasked to be the company's main effort. He served with Bravo Company, 1st, 2nd 96th, until his death from a severe heart attack on December 8, 2005 while on duty. His awards include Bronze Star Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the Army Reserve Component Achievement Medal, and the Armed Forces Reserve Mobilization Medal, the Iraqi Campaign Medal, the Global War on Terrorism Medal, the National Defense Medal, and the Army Service Ribbon.
I'm an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of the team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit, and I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, and trained in my warrior tasks and drills. I am an expert, and I am a professional. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I am the guardian of freedom and the American way of life. I am an American soldier.
If we look into the annals of biblical history, we'll find an account where the General Joshua summoned 12 men from among the Israelites, and he gave them some instructions. He told them, take 12 stones from here out of the middle of the Jordan, carry them with you, and lay them down in the place where you camp tonight. When your children ask you in time to come, what do these stones mean to you? Then you'll tell them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off in front of the Ark of the Covenant. And so these stones will be a memorial forever. If we look, we'll find that most cultures in the chronicles of history have erected monuments or stelae, standing stones. These stones stand witness to significant events, trees, accomplishments, and people. Stelae had significance over other standing stones as they had inscriptions upon them explaining their importance for all posterity. Often, these stones were located on hilltops or near prominent crossroads so they could be easily seen. Passers-by would see the stones and would know that something of consequence had happened here. We even mark these significant milestones in our personal lives on a daily basis. The pencil marks on the wall at Grandma's house marking our growth. Perhaps a high school tassel hanging from the rearview mirror. The college ring. The diploma and the colors hanging on the wall. The dates in the front of the family Bible. All markers of significant events in our lives. I've been associated with the military and its traditions for the entirety of my almost 40 years. I've traveled the world. I've seen many of its wonders. And in every country that I've visited on 5 different continents, I've seen stelae, standing stones. Some lavish and huge, dominating city squares. Some very simple, very plain, with just a small brass plaque on the corner. Without fail, all of them have raised the question, what happened here? I believe that it is fitting today that we erect our own standing stone to commemorate and memorialize the great work and the ultimate sacrifice that these Americans, sons, husbands, and fathers made. Furthermore, in days to come, when someone passes by, they will know the price that was paid to free the oppressed from tyranny, so that they too might have the opportunity to experience freedom as we have it. So as we've gathered here today at this place of significance, at this crossroads, if you please, commemorating the past and looking towards the future, how do we travel from here? The record of Isaiah tells us, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run, not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I do not find it coincidental that in the history of the Black Horse Regiment, at times we've walked in dismounted campaigns. At times we have run mounted upon steeds of flesh and steel to engage our foes. And at times we've mounted up with wings as eagles, bringing freedom to those less fortunate. Neither do I find it any less significant or any small significance that occurrences of importance in the historical and physical realm share principles that we may apply in our personal and spiritual lives. In days of anniversary and remembrance, some already observed, some to experience in the near future, walking without fainting through the jungles of emotion and grief seems a task beyond our strength. Yet I must retain the hope in the promise that if I do my part, not only will I be able to walk, but I will receive the strength to run and even fly as an eagle with rapture and renewed vision for the future. While today's ceremony is the dedication of a memorial monument, it has historical elements of military memorial honors. We find throughout the ages that honors were accorded to great champions and leaders who sacrificed greatly. Some of these heroes hailed from positions of prestige and wealth. Some were simply common men doing uncommonly great things. Such honors have included bequeathal of lands and titles, parades, wreaths of glory, positions of influence, and monuments raised to commemorate their deeds. In days of observance and memory in our nation's heritage, we humbly pay our respects to those who've gone before. It is the hope that as we stand at the crossroads of time and memorial, that we will remember, learn, and receive inspiration and fortitude for the future. So it is fitting today that as we conclude this ceremony that we once again honor our fallen heroes with the rendering of military honors. So if you'll please rise for the honors volley, and remain standing for the sounding of taps, the playing of Amazing Grace, and the closing prayer.